This is the real Yogi, I think. Finally! He's been acting feeble to hide his true identity. Acting for 15 years. Well, let me ask you again. Please state your name for the court. My name is Yanni Yogi. 15 years ago, I served as bailiff in this very court. Order! Order! Yanni Yogi! So it was you who killed Robert Hammond and tried to frame Miles Edgeworth for his death. Yes, it was me. I did it. They put me on the witness stand 15 years ago. Robert Hammond. He said I was mentally unsound. He told me it would make me innocent, get me off the hook. So I pretended to have brain damage. I was innocent, really, but he didn't believe me. We won the trial, but I lost everything. I lost my job, my fiancé, my social standing. Then, this year, 15 years later, a package arrived. It was a letter and a pistol. The plan was written out in careful detail. It was a plan for me to take my revenge on the people who ruined my life. I didn't care who had sent it. I thought this was my chance. After 15 years, this was it. Finally, a chance to have my revenge on Robert Hammond and Miles Edgeworth. I have no regrets. Wait a moment! Revenge against Miles Edgeworth? What do you mean? I'm not at liberty to speak on that matter. Why don't you ask Mr. Edgeworth himself? Anyway, I admit it. I was the one who killed Robert Hammond. Von Karma, where is Mr. Yogi? Under arrest, Your Honor. I saw no room for error in his confession. Then the defendant Miles Edgeworth is innocent in this case, at least. Very well. Will the defendant please take the stand? Oh no. Subutike kakadori. Subutike sandori. All according to Kekake.
Translation mode. Kekake means plan.
There are a few mysteries left unsolved. Still, you are cleared of suspicion for this particular case. So I would like to pass judgment on the murder of Mr. Robert Hammond. Any objections? I don't believe it. Why isn't Von Karma saying anything? Very well. This court finds the defendant, Mr. Miles Edgeworth. That is all. This court is adjourned. See that smirk on Von Karma's face? Did someone just say objection? It wasn't Von Karma. Wait, but that means no. Edgeworth? Your Honor, I object to your judgment. What do you mean? I am not innocent at all. As we have heard, Yanni Yogi killed Robert Hammond in revenge. But revenge for what? Nick! Edgeworth is trying to confess. He's going to say he's guilty. He's going to tell him he was the murderer in the DL6 incident. He's going to tell him he killed his own dad. Oh, what do I do? Judgment has already been passed. I object to Edgeworth's outburst. Didn't something like this happen yesterday too? I believe a certain witness raised an objection after the guilty verdict was passed. That would be Larry. We must hear this new testament statement. We must hear Miles Edgeworth. He is right. We have a duty to hear Mr. Edgeworth out. For 15 years, I had a recurring dream. A nightmare. It's only a nightmare, that's what I told myself. But now I know, it wasn't a dream. Yogi wasn't the killer. You mean, in the incident where your father died? From the distance of the shot, it wasn't suicide either. Everything was clear as day. The murderer. The criminal in the DL6 incident. It was me. Your Honor, I confess my guilt. I'm guilty for DL6. The statute of limitations of which ends today. The culprit is me. Order! Order! This is certainly unexpected. The defendant declared innocent is confessing to a different crime. A crime for which the statute of limitations runs out today. I'm not really sure how I should deal with this. Pah! It's obvious. We hold a trial right here, right now. We try this man for his crime of 15 years ago. I think I would like to take a 5-minute recess. Oh, he planned this. I mean, I'm not sure if he planned for us to get to this point with his initial plan, but he has improvised to turn it into this, at the very least. After all, Phoenix is somewhat of a rogue element to Karma. There's been so many times he's been just caught off guard by us. So, he didn't plan for that. But yes. Actually, I mean, Karma didn't have to do anything. But at least not to get this out of Edgeworth, but Edgeworth is so committed to justice. He is so committed to seeing justice done right that he would, this is within his personality if he had committed a crime. If he knew he had committed a crime, he would, like, especially like this, he would just come up and say it. Felix has no plan beyond showing up. Yep. Yes, he is obsessed with justice. So yes, so all the things like all the rumors that he has been forging evidence, all of them are false, because he would not allow himself to be go to that level. So everything like preparing witnesses and stuff like that, yes, but never forging evidence or uttering falsehoods. During this time, I will consider the appropriate course of actions to take. Court is adjourned. That is something I was... Yeah, Edgeworth is dedicated. I am sorry, Wright. I just wasted all of your effort. Mr. Edgeworth, I just don't believe it, sir. I mean, you killed your dad? I wouldn't want to believe it myself, detective, but it's the truth. I deserve to be punished. Murder is murder, no matter what the circumstances. This is crazy! Just crazy! Nick, what are you doing? Huh? Oh, I was just reading through the court records once more. I'm getting my case ready. Your case? For what? Huh? Isn't it obvious? I'm going to prove that Miles Edgeworth is innocent. Yes, Edgeworth is the definition of lawful good.
I decided to play some Minecraft. Feel free to join me.
Oh. I'm going to start the other case next. What about just talking? What are you talking about, pal? He just admitted to it. He confessed that he did it in court. I'm sorry, Edgeworth, but I don't believe your nightmare. What? It's just a dream. Nothing is real. Is the truth right? The truth is right here in the court record. In any case, tighten your belts. There's a real fight. It's going to begin now. I'll prove you're innocent. Trust me. Right. Now then, I would like to resume our trial. Judge, Miles Edgeworth has admitted his own guilt. He has confessed his crime. Let us begin by hearing his testimony. Then, though pointless, let the defense do their cross-examining. The statute of limitations on the DL6 incident runs out today. Though it's unconventional for me, I'd like to run this one by the book. I see. Does the defense have any objections? No, Your Honor. Von Karma, you knew this was going to happen from the very beginning, didn't you? Beginning today. Like, not at the beginning of this whole proceedings. Yep. You are very correct there, Farewell. Very well. Will Mr. Miles Edgeworth take the stand? Will the witness state his name and profession? Miles Edgeworth. I am a prosecuting attorney. Mr. Edgeworth, 15 years ago you mistakenly killed your father, Gregory Edgeworth. Is this correct? It is correct. Then testify about this matter to the court. When Edgeworth was telling me about about his dream yesterday, I noticed something. One detail didn't quite fit. That will be the key. If only I can get it to work. Please, please. That day, I had gone to the courtroom to observe one of my father's trials. As we went to leave, an earthquake struck, trapping us in the elevator. My father and Mr. Yogi lost their composure and began to argue. Just then, something heavy fell at my feet. I picked it up and threw it at Mr. Yogi. I wanted him to stop fighting. A moment later, there was a single gunshot. Then a scream. It was a terrible scream. I remember it to this day. That is all. And until now I thought his memory was a dream. We were stuck in that elevator for 5 hours. The oxygen in the elevator ran out, and I lost my memory of events. Bah! The same claim Mr. Yogi has made. Very well. Mr. Wright, your cross-examination, please. I can't remember if 2 bullets were shot in the DL6 incident. I think it was just 1. 1 bullet. The murder weapon was fired twice. Yes, 1 bullet and 2 shots. So we have this one is the big one because there are 2 shots. The gun fired once. Yes. I think after I threw it, I lost consciousness. Since then, they've echoed in my head every day. Yes, we also have we have that picture. Yes, of the with the gun with the hole in the elevator. That gunshot, that horrible scream. The scream? It was a terrible scream. I remember it to this day. To this day? Yes, I can practically hear it now. I doubt I will ever forget that scream for as long as I live. There it is. One part of that testimony clearly contradicts the evidence, but I don't know what it means. But I better find out and quick. Oh yes, he does, but we have this one here. We have 2 gunshots. Are you sure you only heard 1 gunshot? Yes, I'm sure of that. I heard the shot and the scream. Then everything faded. I was unconscious until the rescuers came. I see. No, Your Honor, unfortunately you don't. Look at this file one more time. This is plainly contradicts the witness testimony. You're not... I mean, she would have to also have the tact not to just prod at people like instantly and just spout out her words. But yes, I think she could be very good at therapy. If she didn't have this, you know, drive to poke and prod at everyone and show she's the best and the smartest person around.
When? What?
Fair and well, Lisa refers to Lisa Wilburn from Worm, also known as Tattletale. Think Sherlock Holmes on steroids. That's Lisa Wilburn. You enjoy dragging out that file, don't you? I don't accept this evidence unless you can tell us what page it is on. Which page contradicts Miles Edgeworth's testimony? That was the victim data, right? Just to clarify. No! The... Go away! Stupid notifications. Murder weapon was fired twice, yes. Yeah. Same. I will make you an offer you cannot refuse. Victim data. Look at the victim data in this file. It says quite plainly the murder weapon was fired twice. Miles Edgeworth only heard 1 gunshot, yet the murder weapon was fired twice. The first shot was the accidental firing when the pistol was thrown. So, who fired the remaining shot? Was there perhaps another shooter who fired that second shot? Your Honor, as I'm sure you're aware, this incident occurred 15 years ago. The evidence is dated. The pistol did fire twice. However, we don't know when that second shot was fired. It might have been fired a day before the incident. There is no proof that the second shot had anything to do with this incident. What? I see. You do have a point, Mr. Wright. The murder weapon was fired twice, as we have heard. One of those shots was fired by the defendant with a boy at the time. Do you have any proof that the other shot had anything to do with the case? So we have this one, which is the bullet. This is a kill shot. And we have this picture here showing this one here. Let's see. The other shots have, but whether or not we have any proof that the other shot has something to do with this case is... I don't think that's something we actually have. Let's see. No other clues were found on the scene. I can't remember which one it is. Yeah, I would. The only thing I would say is the picture. Let's go with the picture. Your Honor, I think I will be able to show you proof. What? Impossible. Now, Mr. von Karma, save a surprise for after you've seen the evidence. Very well, Mr. Wright, show us your proof. Do you have evidence that the second firing the pistol is related to this incident? This is the only thing I would present here. Nope. Oh, maybe not. Look at this photograph. Yeah, it is. That's one. This is a photograph of the scene of the crime 15 years ago. I can see that the victim is lying there. Is Gregory Edgeworth. This proves the murder weapon was fired twice at the time of the incident. This photo proves it. So let me get this straight. This photo proves 2 shots were fired? Where? Your Honor, please, get a clue. As should be obvious, the contradiction is here. I see a bullet hole in the door. Your Honor, Gregory Edgeworth was killed by a shot from the pistol, yet there's also a bullet hole in the elevator door. We also know that the murder weapon was fired twice. Thus, someone other than Edgeworth fired that second shot. Order! Order! Mr. Wright, what are you driving at? It is simple, Your Honor. At the time of the incident, 2 shots were fired. One went into Edgeworth's heart. The other hit the elevator door. Remember the defendant lost consciousness after the shot he fired rang out. In conclusion, we must agree that a second shot was fired by someone else. Mr. Wright, but who could that someone else be? The murderer, of course. I knew I should have stepped in before your wild fantasies got out of hand. Mr. Wright, look once more at the DL6 incident case file. Look closely. Try the summary case page. Case summary page. That's on page 1. Look at what is written there. Not a single clue was found on the scene. If the pistol had indeed been fired 2 times, then the other bullet would have been discovered on the scene. He does have a point. That second bullet was never been found. Why? Because the second bullet doesn't exist. The bullet that claimed Gregory Edgeworth's life was the one fired by his own son. That is the truth of this matter. The whole truth. It was undoubtedly something else that made the hole in the bullet hole in the door. Order! I will have order! Mr. Wright has proven one thing to us quite clearly, that the murder weapon was fired twice at the time of the incident. However, as Mr. von Karma says, the second bullet fired was not found. It is highly unlikely that the police merely overlooked this second bullet. So all we have is a single bullet fired. I'm afraid I have to discount the defense claim. I praise the judge for his wisdom in this matter. How did this happen? I don't believe that he said a second bullet didn't exist. Was I wrong? Have I been wrong about this whole incident? What are you doing, Nick? Why aren't you raising an objection? I'm sorry, Maya. What? It looks like I was wrong. Nick! If the second bullet wasn't there, then all my conjectures are for nothing. No. But you said you'd do it, Nick. You said you'd get Edgeworth declared innocent. I'm sorry. When I saw the photograph, I thought that 2 shots had been fired. I was so certain of it. I thought I'd won. I thought there was another person. Someone else who fired the killing shot. But now, I was wrong to think it would be that simple. This case has stood unsolved for 15 years. Nick. Well, it seems that we have finally cleared up this incident. Only 1 bullet was found at the scene of the crime. That shot was fired by Miles Edgeworth. Precisely. I would like to ask one thing of Miss Miles Edgeworth before casting my verdict. Have you been paying attention to the trial so far? Yes, Your Honor. Do you have any objections? No, I do not. So you killed your father even though that was not your intention? Yes, I did. Oh no, he's accepted the guilt. Very well. The statute of limitations on the murder of Gregory Edgeworth runs out today. Therefore, I must pronounce a verdict on the defendant today, right here. Right now. Indeed. Does anyone have any objections? I've been here before. It's just like my first day in court. There are so many things I know I should be saying, but my mind's gone blank. I can't find the words. Mr. Wright. So, one thing that goes around, like, is a recurring thing in this game series is that you have to not ask, so how was it? You have to look at it this way. Why couldn't the second bullet be found? Not dismiss it. And we have to think outside the box and how we want to think. So we're gonna say I have an objection for time being. I think we have it. Your Honor, I object. Mr. Wright, on what grounds do you object? Oof. Nick, I don't know. His case is perfect. Oh no. Ugh. It must exist. The second bullet. What? What did you just say? Nothing. The second bullet must exist. But where? Someone took it. It seems that waiting is not going to produce us any answers from Mr. Wright. Wait, Your Honor. The second bullet. It existed. What? But we just heard proof that this did not exist. I realize that, Your Honor. I'm really grasping here. It's just someone took it from the scene of the crime. That's what happened. But who? The murderer. The murderer? Then tell us just who is this murderer? I'm still thinking about that one. So the criminal took the second bullet, but why? Huh? First of all, how would they have found it? It's not easy to find a stray bullet, Mr. Wright. Was there some pressing need for that murderer to search for that second bullet? Pretty much. Of course there was a need. That's why they took it. Bah, what a possible reason could I possibly have? Well, the reason the murderer took the bullet away from the scene of the crime with them is... Wild chicken stuff.